It is those innocent people, children, women, men, young and old, who are being slaughtered, who are being killed through a process of genocide that they call sanctions. But I believe even all of these things pale into insignificance compared with the fitna that they tried to impose upon the Muslims through the satanic verses. The satanic verses represented an assault on the Muslims in a manner which, if the Muslims had not stood up to resist, would have opened up the revered personality of Islam to all kinds of ridicule and degradation. It was a carefully calculated policy to assault the very foundations of Islam. And it was for this reason that when Imam Khomeini's fatwa was issued, it was the first direct challenge to the West's political hegemony, that the Muslims are not going to stand up and allow their revered personalities brought down to the level of Hollywood and the filth that they are putting out around the rest of the world. Also, there is a confusion in the minds of some Muslims who think that the Christians are Ahlul Kitab, today's Christians and Jews and so on, and therefore they are our cousins and so forth. First of all, I would like to ask those of my brothers and sisters who think that way to tell me whether the original book that was revealed to either Musa alayhi salam or to Isa alayhi salam, does anybody have a copy of that book? The original book, not the distorted version that they keep on changing every so many years. If we do not have a copy of the original book, then these people cannot be considered as the Ahlul Kitab, because there is no book that we are talking about to which they belong. And today, you look at the West, they not only violate each and every commandment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but they commit every zulm, every shirk, every crime that any nation on the face of this earth committed throughout history. Can we have coexistence with such people? Their own children in the West are drug addicts. Their own girls, their own daughters and sisters go around at the age of 10 and 12 and commit fornication and adultery in front of their brothers and their fathers, and they feel proud of this fact. They are the ones who feel proud of being homosexuals. Everywhere, whether you go to America or you go to Europe or you go to Israel or you go to other parts of the world, they commit this abomination and they feel proud of it. My brothers and sisters, it is not time to live in coexistence with them. It is time for us to pick up the stones, to stone these people to death for the abomination that they are committing. And it is this challenge, and it is this responsibility that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala imposes upon us. My brothers and sisters, I invite you to this challenge. I invite you to this struggle that lies ahead for us, that we confront this Jahili civilization, that we consign it to the dustbin of history where it belongs, so that we make the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uppermost, as promised by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and work towards it so that Allah will choose us as being His chosen servants, through whose hands and through whose effort this would be brought about. The President of the United States, the Prime Minister of Britain, the Chancellor of Germany, the President of France, and so on and so forth, and the kings and other lesser breeds were all there to pay their respects to 60 Jews that were killed in Palestine. And Muslims are supposed to be the terrorists, and they deserve collective punishment. Well, we never saw the Zionists go and blow up the houses of Baruch Goldstein. They did not go and demolish the home of Yigal Amir, who murdered their own prime minister. But you know, we as Muslims must know that this can be expected from these people. We shouldn't have any illusions about it. The reason being that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us in the Quran that these Jews, they murdered even the prophets of Allah. Did they not kill Prophet Zakaria alayhi salam and Prophet Yahya alayhi salam? The Jews killed them. So why should we expect them to do or treat us any better? I think we would be remiss if we think that these people are going to be our friends. We must not be under any illusions that people who cannot be friends of Allah and His prophets can be friends of the Muslims. Because if they are going to be our Muslims, then we must examine our own iman. Then there is something wrong with us. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that you cannot expect any friendship from these people. These people, the Jews, the Christians, the mushrikeen and the kuffar, will spare no effort to ruin you. And they will do everything in their power to hamper your activities, including harmless activities like holding a conference. They will do everything in their power to hamper your activities. And yet Allah warns us and He says that what they utter with their mouths, what they say on their television screens, what you hear on their radio stations, what you read in their newspapers, Allah says that that is nothing. What they conceal in their heart towards you is much greater. The hatred that they have towards you is much greater. And so we as Muslims have to be conscious of this fact. And if we are conscious of this fact, and we understand their nature and our responsibilities, then inshallah we cannot go astray. About 10 days ago, we received a message from the Mujahideen in Chechnya. We are, of course, communicating with them on the internet. We had sent a message to them, please tell us what is it that we can do for you. And the message that they sent back is really very revealing. We thought perhaps they will say, please do some fundraising for us, send us medicine, send us weapons. They said, we ask our Muslim brothers and sisters around the world to remember us in their prayers. Can you imagine the spirit of these people? They don't want you to give them weapons or money. Of course, it is our obligation to give them that help. But they only want us to remember them in their prayers. Inshallah, no power in the world can defeat them, least of all these gangsters who are ruling in Russia. But my brothers and sisters, I ask you, it is important for us. We have an obligation. We have to fulfill our responsibility. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala expects us to do that. Our responsibility is that we help them financially. We extend help to them materially, so that these brothers will remain steadfast, that these brothers will be able to continue the struggle. Because I'm quite confident and I'm quite sure that there will be jihad in Chechnya so long as there is even one Chechen alive.